like to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of this land, the Gadigai, who are part of the Eora Nation, to pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. Prime Minister, Ministers of State, delegates, leaders, ladies, actually, sorry, leaders is ladies, and gentlemen. So first off, I'm actually going to walk around a bit because he gave me this thing and told me that's what I'm supposed to do. And that way I can read what I've got without having to look behind me. So thank you, all those people who've managed to make it here this morning after a outstanding gala dinner. I think there might be a few people who are either missing or would like me to talk more quietly, which I'll try and do. So, first of all, I'd like to congratulate Octedi on 40 years. That's an incredible achievement and something I think we all aspire. And as hopefully I'll be able to show you, that's certainly something that we're going to aspire to. So, building the next world-class gold copper mine in Papua New Guinea. That's us, K92. And hopefully this is all going to work. So, our strategy is to realize and maximize the potential of the Kainantu project. Not the Kainantu mine, the Kainantu project. Extending the mine life by investing in exploration for our existing and for new deposits. We are the largest explorer in the country. 1 out of every 2 kina that is spent on exploration in Papua New Guinea is spent by K92. Focus on our people by focusing on our hiring and training of local community primarily, but also with Papua New Guinea. We're not to the same percentage as Octedi have got you yet, but we're running at about 94% of our people. And to transform Kainantu into a world-class Tier 1 gold mine through a series of expansions which have been primarily self-funded. As you'll see, in order to get to our Stage 4 expansion, which takes us to over 400,000 ounces a year, we've got almost zero debt. Almost zero debt. We have 60 million, but we have 120 million in cash right now. So we've taken every toya, every kina that we have earned, and we've reinvested it into the project. So that we're not paying interest, we're not paying debts to third parties, it's just going back into the project. So we're creating a lowest cost producer in the country, about half the average of the rest of the gold space, highly profitable, which the PM told me is a requirement of the mine, maximizing return to all shareholders, which again the PM was very clear that I should underline that one. Sustainable social development strategic focuses, so it's education, business development, joint ventures, sustainable development programs, infrastructure, and that training and development. And again, in relation to our sustainable development program, our Sustainable Livelihoods Agricultural Program was recognized by the Chamber yesterday, and our award was presented by the Prime Minister, and I'd just like to acknowledge our people in sustaining and developing. What a fantastic job they're doing. But you can never do enough, so you've always got to be looking to do more. So skills development and that strong commitment to local hiring, as I said. When we acquired the mine, which is on care and maintenance, in 2015, it had 100 people employed. We've grown that to 1,900 right now, and that'll grow over the next 12 months or so to about 2,400 full-time people. That's our own workforce and long-term contractors who are all our community people in their contracts and their projects, their joint ventures. And about 200 to 300 people at any given time on our exploration programs. As I said, we're the biggest explorer And we'll have a presentation on that tomorrow, 8:30, which of course you'll all be up early to see, I'm sure. And there's our breakdown of how we employ people. Female employment, major focus, and obviously one of our things is we want to be able to get our women underground, and that's something I know that the government are very supportive of and will see happen. Investing in the future, we see education as one of those major elements that we need to be doing. We're creating professionals, and I've got to tell you, we keep losing them. They're going to Australia, they're going to Fiji, they're going to New Zealand, and we see that as a success. That we've taken people from university and we've got them to the position where they're in demand around the world. They go overseas, and often they come back because P&G is home. And as we know, anyone from P&G can travel overseas, but you can't take P&G with you, they're going to come back. So we support them going, and we support them even more when they come back. Developing local business through joint ventures. Local procurement in 2023, 377 million, it's more this year. 88 million was paid in joint ventures, which are our local communities. And as you can see, that's been growing every year, and it will grow substantially in the coming years, as I'll show you with our expansion. And there's some of our community programs that we're involved with. As we said, training is a big one. Agriculture is another one. One of the key elements that's missing in that, I think, is coffee. And we had a discussion with the Minister of Coffee yesterday, and we've got a great idea for coffee from around our region. K92 Gold. Look for that coffee on your shelves in the not too distant future. The infrastructure tax credit scheme was obviously spoken about previously. This is a key element. This is something that is almost unique to Papua New Guinea, where we recognize that companies can actually do some of these projects very efficiently because they have got the people that can do it, and the government incentivizes us and provides us with funding effectively. We spend the money, we hopefully get it back from the government in due course in our tax credit scheme, and right now we're busy with our first project, which is the sealing of the Konkua Road, which is about a 24 million kina project. And as I'll show you with the presentation, with current prices and our expansion, we're looking at about 1.3 billion being put into that over the next 10 years. Creating or generating long-term sustainable value. 94%, as I said, of our workforce, P&G nationals, 377 million in procurement, P&G companies, 56% of our procurement is local. Tax credit scheme 21 plus another 2.9. Big focus on skills development, and that's something that we're increasing all the time. We're looking at reducing our emissions. We get our power from Yonki Dam. We're working with them to improve reliability of Yonki Dam. We'd all like PPL obviously to succeed, and we're working with them to do that. And we were recipient of an ESG award last year and again this year. So, systematic execution and delivering to become a Tier 1 producer. Somebody said, can you give me succinctly what K92 is about? And I said, well, for a start, instead of having to say Kainantu, it's just K92. I mean, how succinct do you want us to be? But if I was going to describe us, I would say expansion, 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 and then when we've done that, expansion. We took over the mine, we increased its capacity 30%. A couple of years later, we doubled its capacity. A year after that, and that was done during COVID, only with local companies. A year after that, we increased capacity another 50%. Says stage 2A is 500, we're actually running at 600. We're now constructing the first process plant to be built in the country for 20 years. A 1.2 million ton per annum brand new plant takes us to 300,000 ounces a year at an average of half the cost of anyone else. And as I'm going to show you, even while we're spending $350 million US this year and next year, we're paying tax. We paid over 100 million kina in corporate tax this year. And then stage 4 takes us to 1.8 million tons per annum, over 400,000 ounces. And that's all I'm allowed to talk about right now. I'm not allowed to talk about stage 5, otherwise the Toronto Stock Exchange will get me in trouble. So what we're looking at is this significant expansion that's happening right now, that's being constructed right now, that's going to take us up to 1.8 million tons per annum. As you can see, it shows that we sort of tail off in 2037. That was based on a resource that we did 18 months ago. That will already be extending out beyond there if we ran the resource today. This company has consistently added more ounces to their resource than we process every single time we do a resource. And at the same time, the cost of finding our resource is about less than a quarter of the industry average, even though people will tell you that exploration in Papua New Guinea is very expensive, and certainly we have to have a few helicopters. Geologists seem to like them for some reason. Maybe because they don't like climbing up mountains, I don't know. But even with that, our discovery cost is still less than a quarter of the world industry average, not P&G industry average. Life of mine production, as you can see, we get up to almost 500,000 ounces a year. So this is a major mine. This is a tier 1 mine with costs that are in the lowest quartile in the world. This is just a little video, some drone footage just taken just over a week ago of the construction. Right-hand side there, you can see our existing plant. This is a new plant being built. As I said, the first one in 20 years is being built here. $350 million US this year and next year that we are investing in our expansion. And this is a really, obviously, exciting time for us. And this is just a step. This is stage 3. We've still got stage 4 coming after this, which is another 50% increase in our throughput. Primarily internally funded. We've been in country now for 9 years. There is not a cent toya of dividend that has been paid to our shareholders yet, but we're a taxpayer, et cetera, and we're a reinvestor in our projects. We're an underground mine, an unusual underground mine, and you go up into the mine, which is a concept a lot of people have difficulty with underground mines. You go down into the mine, we actually go slightly up into the mine. It's a great thing about having mountains. If you're in the valley, you've got to go up. One of the things we've done is upgrade our underground infrastructure so that we've gone from, on the left, you can see there, that's the existing incline that we got with the mine. It's a 4x4.5. Trucks come down there, 40 tons, believe it or not. Trucks, 40 tons come down there. Incredible drivers, all Papua New Guineans, all locals. We should get them out on the roads because they don't hit things there. Is an idea for a training program. David, take the note. And now we've put in the twin incline, 6x6.5, and next to it is a 5x5.5. Now we're talking about 70-ton trucks, 30 kilometers an hour coming out. Dramatic reduction in just your costs of handling material. We've put in the largest raise bore ever done in Papua New Guinea. We're just busy putting in an even bigger one. That is a 5-meter diameter, 240 meters raise bore. The machine itself, we looked at getting contractors in, and contractors being contractors, mobilization was almost the cost of the rig. Demobilization meant they actually made money on it. So we went out and bought our own and just brought a contractor in to train our people up so that we can do this. 5-meter diameter. There's our ventilation, there's our transportation of materials. And as I said, it's a mine that you go up into. It's an underground mine that you go up into. Twin incline now coming in the bottom gives us access to the entire deposit, and we have slowly but surely increased its size, going to the south, increased its size at depth. So when we look at stage 4 at $2,500 an ounce, and I'm sure everyone knows that gold is a little bit better than that, we look at what does that mean? In terms of the production run rate, we're going from 120,000 ounces next year, and by the way, this year we've done a lot more than that. It's a record year for us. We're going up to 414,000 on average. 480 about is our peak. When we look at the economic impact in that per week, we're going from 26 to 72 million kina a week. And if you look at the take of government in terms of at that run rate, that's well over 20 million kina a week. That should certainly cover a few things for government. Capital investment in exploration and expansion. We spent 1.7 billion kina so far, and we've got 5.4 billion that we'll spend until 2037. Job creation, as I mentioned, we're now sitting at about 1,900. That's going up to 2,400 for our stage 4, which is the end of next year. And at the same time, as I mentioned, at any given time, we've got 200 to 300 people that are employed in our exploration areas. In terms of revenue, as you can see, our revenue is growing to around 4 billion kina a year. 4 billion kina at 2,500. We've got some guy called Trump who's apparently going to move into a house that for some reason or other is painted white. And hopefully he's got some really good policies that are inflationary, and those are going to help our gold price, we hope. He's got to help somebody. Major contributor to the economy, over 600 million per year with our stage 4. And we look at our benefits to the government, landowner, and as you can see, we're going up to over 1.5 billion a year. We become, and we're going to give Octedi a very good run for the money. We think that we can pay more corporate tax than they can. I'm probably going to get fired, actually. I'm thinking about this. Yeah, but that's a goal for us. We want to be the biggest corporate taxpayer in the country in the mining space, because if we're paying tax, that means we're profitable. That means we're doing what we should be doing. Some things that just show you how it all happens in terms of all the things that we're doing, and our exploration spend. One of the things I was sharing with the Prime Minister and with the Mining Minister, that post this expansion, we intend to double our expenditure on exploration. We're already the largest in the country, and by doubling it, we actually increase the amount of money that's being spent in the country on exploration by 50%. We don't explore, we don't find mines. From finding a prospect to getting a mine, 17.5 years on average. We need to be exploring now, and we are. I encourage everyone to come to our presentation tomorrow, 8:30, on our exploration. I'm sure you'll find it interesting. These are some of the projects that we're working on. They're just some of the projects that we're working on. We're working on high-grade vein systems. We're working on porphyries, et cetera, and we'll go into it more. But you can look there. That's the resource that we had on the side, looking the side of the mountain when we started. That's what it looks like right now. That's what happens when you go from 1 million ounces to 7 million ounces, basically adding 1 million ounces a year. We're really excited. We've now got 4 rigs working at Arakompa. This is our new prospect, and we actually think that potentially this could be the next mine in Papua New Guinea. We know that Wafi-Golpu are a little bit ahead of us. We only started drilling here, believe it or not, this year. We'll get our first resource out, but we think we could bring this mine into production in 2 or 3 years. And that's what you can do if you've got the people, if you've got the support from government, you've got the support from the department, and we have those things. Plenty of targets. We're good for the next 20 years. Any young geologist, young exploration geologist, you're looking for a safe career that's going to be exciting, come and join us, because we got prospects for the next 20 years. Keep busy, potentially keep your kids busy as well. So thank you very much for your time today. Thank you to the government of James Marape for the support that we've had to date and for the support that we know we'll get in the future. Thank you, everyone.